Good afternoon, good evening, good night. I hope you're well, however you are doing, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you. It's about 2:20 a.m. for me, December 31st. We're about to go into our new year after today. It's been an interesting year. Got some ideas for the upcoming year, some things I want to do, some ideas for the YouTube channel, things I want to incorporate and add in. Might talk about that a little bit more. What I wanted to meditate on today, verbally and out loud to myself and with you, whoever you may be, is the concept of being a player character or a non-player character. And that is a concept from what you could call role-playing games, RPG, or video games, where you're a character I'm trying to think how to say this. You're a character with an objective or a issue, some tension that you have to fix in the world of the video game. And sometimes that requires development of the character you're playing. Of course, if you play video games, you're familiar with this. There are non-player characters that just float around, do random stuff, have their routine. Sometimes it's random. Usually it's a routine that's programmed in. They do this thing at a certain time every day. They say certain things. That's their vocabulary. It's limited. They have a certain amount of words they know how to say, a certain amount of phrases and interactions you can have with that person. Player character is moldable. You can put your influence onto it depending on the game. The amount of moldability you have is fluctuating. But if you look at real life, and people use the term, usually in political conversations, when they'll call someone an NPC, non-playable character. They're just floating around, going through their routine, sticking with what they know. They don't branch out of it. They have their identity, politics, their personal beliefs, and they only work within those, their matrix, their realm of their identity. They only stay within there. If you're a playable character, you realize that if there's an objective or some sort of obstacle that needs to be overcome, you have to change, mold, and adapt and improve, which makes you a playable character. And there's this interesting, I don't know if it's a phenomenon, I don't know if there's a word for it or what's going on here. Think about the game Sims is one I think of specifically, because you're dealing with a fictional human. Generally speaking, I haven't really played the Sims game, but it's a closer to example to real life is in this parable, in this concept I'm trying to explain. So you have a human-esque character in a video game that you will make wake up at a certain time, exercise, educate themselves, improve their job, improve their housing situation. And so you're manicuring, pedicuring, improving, and kind of being a helicopter parent for this fictional entity. And think about that for a second. I'm going to try and get this rolling again. So people spend hours, days, months, weeks playing these games where they will level up, improve, and create these awesome entities in a fictional world. But if you zoom out and looked at yourself and imagine, am I treating myself like a playable character or an NPC? And am I allowing myself to just go through these routines, do these things without trying to level up this character? I understand part of it. You don't always want to level up. Maybe it's not necessary to level up. You're having fun. You're peaceful right where you are. You don't want to level up to the next boss, the next puzzle, because it's intimidating and not everyone wants to be at that level all the time, because it takes energy and depending on the situation, that level may not be right for you, but you might know that you're capable of it. Or you might have the inkling that maybe you could be capable of it if you tried. And another concept I was thinking of to explain this kind of thing I see in people, and I do it the same too. You know, I'll play a video game when I do and create this atmosphere, these skills, develop this person, and then I look at myself. I'm like, well, am I doing the basics for myself? These basics like hydration, sleep, exercise, saving money, personal development, all these little things. Am I investing as much time into myself as it's interesting thinking about the time quotient, because when you spend a video game, some games will show you how long that save file has been played for. I would love to know what well, I don't know if I'd love to know, but if you were to take all the saved files, the games I've played through my childhood and young adulthood, where I am now, and add up all that time spent, it would be a monstrous amount of time. They say it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft, whether it's a trade or whatever it is you're doing. And there are, without doubt, a huge handful of people that have got 10,000 hours into a variety of video games. And that time, that energy could have been put towards yourself. Now, games are awesome, and there's their place for them and their benefits, etc., etc. But it also provides the contrast of, okay, you can do this to your character, your playable character. You can improve this, you can level this up. Can you look at yourself and apply the same concepts? With the Sims example, improving your home situation, your education, your fitness, your health, your happiness, your well-being, taking care of the basics. That's kind of all that game is. I haven't played it much. I've tried it a few times in the day, but you're essentially just leveling up a human being almost exactly like what you'd be doing for yourself, but people don't do that too often. And it's probably partly the fear of actually becoming good at something, because then people see you and they say, they know you're capable of that. You just did that. Why weren't you doing that yesterday? Why aren't you going to do it tomorrow? Why was it just a fluke? And when the people see that you're capable of something, now there's the expectation for yourself to be at that standard, because you just leveled up. You just accomplished a skill that your previous character, your previous identity couldn't do, or wasn't willing to do, or didn't know that skill or opportunity existed. And then you unlock these skills, and then you're in a different playing field where people around you expect you to take care of these certain things because they know you can. And that applies to almost everything in life. People watch you without you noticing it. And a good example is the work environment. If you prove that you're capable of figuring stuff out, eventually you're going to be helping figuring out a lot of stuff for people. And sometimes those people are going to be making more than you, and they're asking you for help. And that's there's some tension there that I personally struggle with when I feel like I'm carrying the load and people above me are just non-player characters going through their routine without trying to level themselves up, or somehow they got into a position because at one point they were at that level and they let themselves atrophy back a few levels, but they're still in that position, but their capabilities or their motivation or their mindset's not in the right place. I think a good thought experiment is looking at yourself. And I try to do this for myself. It's kind of a constant state of awareness, or attempting to constantly being aware of. If I were out of my body watching myself do this and I was controlling this character, would I want him doing this thing? Would I go and work on this other opportunity that provides more return? What things would I be changing? And that's a really good thought experiment. And Jordan Peterson, who I've talked about in a couple of videos already now, he talked about it in this way similarly. I'm not going to quote exact words verbatim. Treat yourself as if you were someone that you truly cared about. Which is a funny thought, because if you might care about your video game character, but if that character dies, you're just going to start over. There's actually a good interview with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett owns Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know if I need to explain who Warren Buffett is. I work for a company that's owned by him. Fairly successful guy, I think you could say. You can probably find this video. I believe he's speaking to a college or something of the sort. He says, imagine you could have any car you wanted, but that's the last car you're gonna get. You would really take care of that car, and you would care for that car, and you'd probably know it inside and out better than the mechanics. Like, if you go to a doctor, you're gonna know your body more than they are. They've seen 20 people today. You're just number 21. You have to know your inner workings. People don't know that for you. And he asked the car question. You have to take care of the car. What car would you get? Would you take care of it? How would you care for that car? Your body is your vehicle. It's your player character. Your intellect controls it and moves it through an environment where it has to accomplish certain goals. And you don't get a restart. You don't get a return to last save in real life, which I'm sure you guys know. I think it's a good thought experiment. Hopefully that's a helpful thought exercise for whoever's listening. Future plans for videos. I want to start doing possibly review-ish conversations on independence, prepping, survivalist stuff, and the equipment that goes along with it, along with mindsets and skills-ish in the realm of being an independent person, capable of interacting with nature. Examples of that, I'm getting into woodworking a bit, camping, prepping as far as being able to have a emergency come your way that you're prepared for right off the bat, and that you're not kicked in the butt for or knocked to the ground, that you can just handle it and move on to the next thing. That's a really important ability, to just run into a random problem and be like, I was prepared, here's the band-aid for the problem, etc., etc. I think I'm going to start talking on those things more often. And camping as well. Recently I camped in 20-degree weather with the family, the wife and 2 daughters. We had some ice in the tent in the corners, but we were cozy. That would be a cool conversation I'd like to record having with my wife when we have a quiet time without the kids, and talk about how that camp went, what we want to do to be able to camp in colder weather and be comfortable, because the next couple weeks after that, it was negative. It was in the negatives with wind chill. We're negative 30s and 40s, which was crazy weather. Probably not the safest to be camping in with kids, but it's something I want to be capable of, to know that I can go outside with the basic equipment required and be able to be cozy. I think that's really cool stuff to myself. And I think it will parallel partly, generally speaking, with the other topics I want to talk about when I feel like making a video on a certain topic, because I think personal development ties into your ability to be independent and capable of solving problems as well as being able to ask for help when necessary. These are all, it's a holistic view personally to life, is taking care of myself so that I'm more equipped to be able to take care of what other problems may come my way, whether they be how am I going to get clean water to drink when I'm camping, or how am I going to get to this level in my career that I want. I think everything's, how you do one thing is how you do everything, is a good saying I've heard a few times. And it's hard to look at everything and say, oh, okay, then I just need to improve everything. That's going to be a really long to-do list. So it's hard to wrap your mind around the concept of holistically becoming better, but it's taking one thing at a time. And these videos are kind of going to be a breadcrumb trail of me blundering and meditating on it and moving forward and showing where my mindset was at this day, and then in the future myself and my family will be able to look back and say, that's where I was at, this is where I went, and possibly there can be some learning benefits from that experience. Anywho, now I'm gonna finish this up and get back to it, get back to working the midnight oil. Hope you're well. Today I am smoking creme brulee tobacco. I bought a pound of it a while back, and it smells so good. It's like, it smells like marshmallows in here, like toasted marshmallows. It tastes fantastic. Maybe I'll start talking a little bit about tobacco stuff. Some other things I'm passionate about, collecting knives, woodworking tools, stuff like that. Just cool stuff that I want to talk about. This is another tobacco that I used up. I'm not sure if it's Rainy Day by Ashton Tobaccos. This was a great tobacco. I already smoked it all, but great stuff, really fruity and nutty. You have a great day. Thanks for checking in. Stay classy.